He'll whip him. He says, they spat upon me. Of course, in Isaiah 53, he says that he'll be cut off from the land of the living, but that he shall see his offspring. That Isaiah had written in sharp detail that the Messiah would come, the king would come, but he wouldn't be accepted or to lists in the Bible, and I hope that you do. Then you'll notice that he lists 7 things, the biblical number of completion. A lot of times, actually, when it just says was hidden, we call it a divine passive, that God hid it from them, that it was not yet time for them to understand. I think that makes a lot of sense. If they had known what they were going to do, if they'd known what God's plan was, then they might not have gone. You say, well, that seems strange. But actually, you may remember in the Exodus, when God took them through the wilderness, he said, we're going to take them this way, because if they see battle, they'll turn around and go back. God said, eventually there's going to be battle, because they're going to go into the promised land. He said, but they're not ready for it yet. You know, I bet that there are life that if God had warned you about up front, you would have turned around and gone back to the house. Foster, they are missionaries in Israel, and he's an archaeologist. And when they first moved to Israel, this door first opened up for them to move there. It's difficult to get a visa to go as a missionary to Israel for Christians, but he was able to get a visa as a hospital chaplain, and so he works in the hospital and is able to do mission work on the side. And so God opened up a door there. And when they first moved, our church gave $1,000 to help with their moving expenses. And so you helped with that, with your generosity. So we're talking to his wife, and she has all this archaeological stuff on their booth. And one of the things she had were oil lamps and stuff. And the kids are asking, what's this? And we've got those kinds of things. But one of them was this teeny tiny oil lamp, like the size of like a shooter marble. And I said, well, what's this one for? And she said that one was one that they would attach to their sandals for seeing their path at night. Psalm 119 says, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I've told you this before. A lot of times we go to God and say, okay, I'd like for your word to be a light unto my destination, right? I want to know, where am I going? What's it going to be like when I get there? Are there hotel reservations made? I want to know all those things. And God says, nope, I've got a light for your feet. I'm going to show you the next step, and then I'm going to show you the next step, and then I'm going to show you the next step, because you're not ready for the whole thing yet. So Jesus does not tell the disciple. He tells them, he plants that seed in their heart, but God hides this from them. That even though they can see him, even though they can hear the words he's saying, they don't see it yet. And in fact, they don't until Luke 24, where God opens their eyes. He opened the scriptures so their eyes could plainly see. And then they recognize who he was. So sometimes you have people who hear and don't hear, or see and don't see. And I think, again, this divine passive is the case for 11 of the apostles. But of course, we know there's other things that can blind us, aren't there? That sometimes our sin will blind us. Have you ever noticed that amazing skill we have for not seeing what we don't want to see? Not hearing what we don't want to hear? I was with Anna last week or week before, and she was cleaning her room, and she said, all right, so the floor is all cleaned up. And I said, what about all the stuff under your nightstand? And she said, oh, that's fine. You can't see that. Now, I could see that. The thing I do usually is budgeting and talk about, okay, what are your priorities? Where's your money? And I asked them, how much debt do you have? And they said, I don't even want to know. Well, that's not really the way that works, right? It's like, I refuse to see that. But we have an ability to see what we want to see and hear what we want to hear.